I would also say that I got the virus myself actually a few weeks ago. When the helpline started on day one, I put myself as a first requirement, and actually I asked the Muslim Youth Association to help me. Thanks to you guys, I'm still here and doing well.
Hey guys, peace be upon you. Welcome to the 4th episode of Life in the Lockdown. Today with me is my co-host Kaleem, who is actually the producer of this program as well. Kaleem, what are we doing today?
Hey everyone, peace be upon you. We will have two special guests, Kaleem Edwards, who is a trustee for Humanity First International, and Mussawir Malik from the Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Association, who is a deputy director for charities and welfare. And we will be talking to them about their humanitarian efforts in this global pandemic. We basically want to start by saying, well, firstly, thank you, of course, for coming on the show. So I'll start with Kaleem. Could you begin by telling us, what is Humanity First?
So we're a humanitarian charity working for all people of faiths, all faiths and none, and wherever there's a need, we'll be there to try and help.
That's amazing. So I've heard that Humanity First has teamed up with Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Association. When did that come about? How did that actually start?
So we're always trying to get every help we can. We've done all sorts of things, interesting things in the UK and the globe. So our job is to try and broker some of those deals and bring people together. And certainly right now, we need them to be running around, getting shopping for older people and the like. So Humanity First is nothing without the people, the volunteers that come in and the donations. So we're grateful for money and or time.
Excellent, excellent. Really amazing work that Humanity First is doing, especially with Muslim Youth Association in the UK. Mussawir, I have a question for you. People nowadays, well, we have also seen this, that whenever there's some terrorist attacks here in the US, I'm from the US right now, and also in the UK, people always talk about, all right, you Muslims, you talk about, standing up for peace and what's right, but what do you actually do when a time like that comes? So right now we're facing this huge pandemic. And, some people do ask, what are Muslims doing? So what is the Muslim youth doing? What would your response be to that?
So at the moment, look, we live in the UK. We're citizens of the UK. We're proud to be British. And our response to allegations, etc., just like that, is we believe in peace. We believe in helping anybody. In regards to the coronavirus, what we're doing at the moment is we've helped over 3,600 households in the UK since March the 21st. We've established 25 food banks across the UK, and we've also assisted the NHS staff who are on the front line at the moment, which is a big thing because they're not getting as much support and love as they should be getting. So we've assisted 720 NHS staff, whether that's delivering PPE supplies or it's actually giving food packages as well. Just our generosity to say thank you to those guys who are the heroes at the moment.
Well, there was also this Pray for Heroes hashtag that was trending yesterday in the UK.
The Ahmadiyya community has called for a nationwide prayer this evening for staff on the front line of the pandemic. It follows similar weekly events such as the Clap for Carers, which of course also takes place tonight. Let's hear from some of those who are backing the Pray for Heroes campaign.
Pray for our heroes! Please pray for our heroes! Thank you to all the key workers for keeping us safe. Pray for heroes.
I do feel that all the volunteers that are out there, supporting the NHS and the medical staff and everything, I think they're also heroes. So we really appreciate your work.
Thank you.
So a quick question for Kaleem. How large is the Humanity First's response team?
Humanity First UK, if you look at what we're doing, we're, like I say, brokering deals where we can, but also we're on the phone. So we've got our mobile phones, and we're working with ladies in our community, elders in our community, and also members of the Muslim Youth Association. Every day we've taken calls from people from Bradford to Essex to Battersea. They're really all sorts. And at any one time, we've got 5 people running an 8 till 8 shift. So there's quite a lot of people in there. We do what we can with what we have.
So how quickly is the response So for example, if I make a call, I'm in need, I call Humanity First helpline, and I say I need this, I need that. So how quickly is the response rate?
Yeah. So basically, we have a call handler picks up the call, gives an immediate response. In the UK, we're blessed. We do have NHS 111. However, they're a little bit busy. But say you're 80-year-old, you don't have the internet, you kind of hear these buzzwords about 111, the online, yada, yada. You don't really know. All you got is your HF's coronavirus support line out to you.
Absolutely. Mussawir, can you tell us how many volunteers you have with the Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Association in the UK helping out right now?
So at the moment, well, in the UK in general, we've got over 6,000 volunteers. That's England, Scotland, and Wales as well. Basically, once it comes through, it comes to myself and my team. What we do is we then process it to the closest region, closest people nearby, and then they straight away make a phone call, and then they go out and shop as soon as possible.
So regarding the youth, like, do you think they're like, how do you deal with the risk of getting the virus? You know, if they're out and about, and it's obviously they're going to be exposed or something, and or the risk of exposure. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, they all have to wear face masks. Ultimately, they have to wear gloves. When they're going out, we have to follow the government guidelines. So 2-meter distance, social distancing. When you're delivering food, for example, at a door, knock on the door, leave it at the doorstep. Make sure you stand 2 meters away. Make sure you communicate everything properly to the people that you're going to. Another thing that we've done is we're trying to avoid cash when we're doing shopping for the vulnerable, the people in isolation who need our help. We've made sure that we've created guidelines for our youth members when they're going out to volunteer as well, because ultimately we need them to be safe. We need them to make sure they're not spreading as well, and they stay safe.
So speaking on hand sanitizer, sorry, Kaleem, I've heard that HF they're making their own hand sanitizers. What's that all about? How did that start?
Yeah, I think if you look at our case in Africa, where there's requirement for these things, I think in the UK we had an issue with hand sanitizers, and then supermarkets have caught up. So guidance has gone around. I would also say that I got the virus myself actually a few weeks ago. So I was on when the helpline started on day one. I put myself as a first requirement, and actually I asked the Muslim Youth Association to help me. Thanks to you guys, I'm still here and doing well. So I'm just saying, for viewers out there that are worried about the virus, I've came through it, and there was times more in my head that I was worried, but you're good as gold.
Can you please, Kaleem, can you take more time on that and explain that feeling when you found out about it, and how did you how did you deal with it? Not like the medical aspect of it, like how did you go through it mentally, spiritually? What did you do?
I think the thing is that I was lucky that I was always walking around, mowing the garden, planting seeds, just taking it. I'm normally quite an active person, so I was relatively active. I think day 4 or 5, you're getting breathless, you're getting the cough. I was very lucky, I had a lot of support. So mentally, yes, it was, even though you're 85%, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, what if there's younger people than me in real trouble?
Well, we're so lucky to have you back, and we pray for your well-being and of your family as well. Mussawir, just one last question for you. Why do this? Why do this work? If you can tell somebody who's looking at a whole bunch of youngsters who are actually sitting at home playing video games, and even adults who are not leaving their house, just to be careful, and that's what the government is saying. But then why risk your own life to save others? Give me like a brief gist of that. And also, if you have heard of any inspiring stories, people really just, appreciating this, anything that you want to share.
I think ultimately, as a human being, firstly, there's no better pleasure than trying to help somebody else. But as a Muslim, it's our duty to help everybody around us. It's unheard of, right? It's something that we're going to be telling our kids later on in life, that I remember at this time. But as a Muslim, it's our duty to make sure that we assist those around us, we help people around us, and myself as well, being part of this youth organization for many years. For me, I don't feel like there's a better feeling when you're helping somebody and seeing results with that as well. And with this pandemic, what we're seeing is we're seeing the results at first hand, right? So as a Muslim, it's our job to make sure that we love our nation, and we make sure that our neighbors and everybody around us, they feel loved as well, and we help as much as possible.
Excellent. And can you share like an incident that you felt really like inspiring?
So we've had quite a few, to be fair. I've had to face a call come through recently where obviously can't mention any names, but it was an individual. It was a client who was going through a very, very tough time, where I think a loss of job, didn't know if they're going to get any benefits coming through, etc. at the time. They had a loss in the family previously. It was a child as well, and they came through the HF line. They came through Humanity First, and they came through to myself. But there was an issue with communication with this individual, and just speaking to that individual, being at home, she was classed as a vulnerable individual. Got told by the local GP that they need to stay at home whilst this is all going on. It's a huge risk if you go out. So couldn't even access cash because they didn't have internet banking. I had to speak with that individual, and unfortunately that individual, you know, basically brought down into tears because didn't know what to do. So straight away we made sure that we had a shop done, we had a proper shop done, so this individual doesn't go without. And every week now we keep in touch with this individual to make sure that they don't go without and they're eating and everything is fine. And that's what we're here for, right? We want to help people as much as possible.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys being here. And, you know, and I really hope and pray that when people hear this, they're also inspired to help out others in need. Thank you for you guys, you know, supporting our heroes and being our heroes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
Be safe, everyone.
Yeah,
It's not pleasant.
So Khalid, I mean, we heard, you know, Kaleem, and we heard Mussawir talk about this, about what they're doing. And, you know, it is really inspirational. And it almost got like a bit emotional too. Like, you know, the situation that it got a bit emotional thinking about they're actually risking their lives to save many. You know, what was your take on the conversation?
I think it's amazing that, you know, we're like a voluntary organization. We're helping people, you know, not for our own benefit, but for the benefit for humanity, you know, and this is all humanitarian work. I think it's great, the amount of work that Humanity First are doing and AMYA, you know, the fact that they actually set up their own helpline just to, you know, taking calls from those in need and just to voluntarily go out and help them. I think it's just amazing, honestly. And it should inspire other people to do the same as well. It's so difficult, you know, it's going out. Volunteers, they're not even getting paid, but they're going out, risking their health, their lives, just to help others in need. It's just amazing. It's just really amazing.
And, you know, and I absolutely agree with you. I mean, there's so much going on, and, you know, the volunteers are out there, and it was so humbling, you know, to listen to them talk. Even Mussawir said that, you know, we're there to assist our heroes. And, you know, that's what I had to jump in and tell them, you are also our hero. You're basically, for the reasons that you mentioned right now, Khalid, these volunteers are also our heroes because they're working on different levels. That's what they're following. They're following the lead of their caliph, His Holiness Mirza Masroor Ahmad, who said that, you know, we'll be there to wipe away the tears of those who have been left bereft, heartbroken, and vulnerable. And I think that's what the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is doing right now, and that's what the youth, Humanity First, that's what they're all about.
The best feeling in the world, actually, to once you have that level of satisfaction that you've helped someone, that's what's the best. That's the best.
The most gratifying feeling. And
yeah,
you know, I was really moved when, you know, Kaleem said that, you know, he was diagnosed with COVID-19 and he survived it, and now he's also on the front lines again, and that takes a lot of guts. And, you know, just recently, you know, one of my aunties, she lost her brother to COVID-19, and, you know, it just reminds you how you know, how helpless we are at this point. People are not able to go to see them for the last time. People are not able to bury them properly just because of the delay. And there's so many body bags just sitting there in New York. So it just like puts, and you cannot basically, you're not able to go there and hug somebody if they have lost a loved one. So I think all those things I think they're just making us think about, you know, around us as human beings, you know, we're connecting more than ever before. But it's just unfortunate that this is the time that we're doing it. You know, we're connecting more as human beings, and you know, what we can actually learn and take away from this is like, we just got to be like this all the time. And I really hope and pray that we all get through this and we're able to do that.
Absolutely. By the way, this quote that Tariq mentioned is actually from our latest article which we published, so please check that out on our website, reviewofreligions.org.